Hogwarts Legacy is soon to be released, offering players the opportunity to explore a large open world filled with various magical creatures and beasts. We will be able to form a bond and take care of some of the creatures on this list. However, for some of them, simply surviving an encounter would be considered a success. Thankfully, the Ministry of Magic has formed a way of classifying these creatures based off their perceived danger level. This is split into 5 different categories, starting off with the first one where creatures are considered boring, all the way to the category 5 where these beasts are deemed as known wizard killers or creatures which are impossible to train or domesticate. We will be starting off strong with the category 5 beast being dragons. This dragon we see here is the Hebridean Black, which we have seen now in several different trailers and reveals so far. Identified by its brilliant purple eyes, dark rough scales, razor sharp ridges along its back, and arrow-shaped tail, it's one of the 2 dragon species native to the British Isles and is commonly found roaming the Hebrides Islands in Scotland, so it makes sense that we have seen it flying around Hogwarts, as the castle is also located within the Scottish Highlands. At some point in the story, we will have to free one of these Hebridean Blacks that has been captured by poachers. In the same mission, we see 2 other dragons, one being the common Welsh Green and the other looks to be a Hungarian Horntail. Overall, it appears that dragons could play a prominent role in Hogwarts Legacy and could be one of the more notable creatures we face. In terms of how dangerous these dragons are, well, the Ministry of Magic has ranked them as a category 5 beast. However, in a tweet showing one of the dragons, the Hogwarts Legacy Twitter page asks, friend or foe? And in the comments, someone said that they will do whatever they can to make the dragon their friend. And the official Hogwarts Legacy page replied saying that your vivarium will be beautiful with all of the magical beasts you've befriended. So is this hinting that we will be able to tame and keep dragons in our vivariums? Or is there a chance that we could fly on the back of one of these giant creatures? It would be unreal if that was possible, but at the end of the day, we can't expect too much. A creature we can, however, mount and glide through the skies with is the Hippogriff. A majestic beast with the front half of an eagle and the back of a horse, the Hippogriff can soar great distances and commands the respect of anyone who dares to approach it. We have seen the Hippogriff a few times now in different trailers and reveals, and even got a glimpse into how flight will work exploring the open world. So far we know of 2 types of hippogriffs in Hogwarts Legacy. The standard white coloured hippogriff, who we've learned is called Highwing. It appears that we'll be able to earn this mount by saving Highwing in a mission. The other one is the Onyx hippogriff, which can only be obtained by pre-ordering the game prior to its release. The only difference between the 2 will be the cosmetics and colour of each creature. We know that hippogriffs are extremely loyal and proud creatures, and gliding around the open world on the back of one will truly be an awesome experience. A fun fact is that Newt Scamander's mother was a known breeder of hippogriffs, and we could potentially see her in the game, as it was said that she was born sometime before 1879, and with this game being set in the 1890s, it would be a really cool Easter egg to see. The Ministry classifies hippogriffs as a category 3 beast, meaning that competent wizards should be able to cope. Another creature that some people will be able to mount are Thestrals, a breed of winged horse with a skeletal body, reptilian face features, and leathery bat-like wings. Thestrals are native to the British Isles and Ireland, and even Hogwarts itself had a very loyal flock of Thestrals, which were used to pull the carriages that led students from Hogsmeade Station to the gates of the castle. Now, many students like Hermione in the films thought that these carriages simply carried themselves, and that's because you can only see Thestrals if you have witnessed death. So this of course begs the question, has our playable character witnessed death prior to their time at Hogwarts? Because we can visibly see the Thestrals. We know our character has an unknown backstory, so for the sake of staying true to the source material and lore, I hope they integrate this somewhere in there. Nevertheless, I'm sure after a few short hours in the game, a handful of us would have committed some unholy and murderous crimes, so seeing them probably won't be an issue. Unfortunately though, riding Thestrals will be limited to those who own the deluxe version of the game or those who have purchased the Dark Arts pack, and this is the only way to get access to them. Moving on, we have Graphorns. We have seen them now several times, from wandering on the beach to playing in our own vivarium where it seems that we have tamed the magical creature. They are large and aggressive, and their hide is said to be tougher than dragon skin. We've seen in the Fantastic Beast films how rare these creatures are. In fact, they are nearly brought to extinction in the 1920s. This is due to their horns being sought after by many poachers, as when crushed into a powdered form, they are used in many different magical potions. In game, we have seen that we can breed a variety of different magical creatures and beasts, and the Graphorns are no exception. We have even seen a baby one playing with the ball in this clip here. Next up, we have these small calf-like creatures called Mooncalves. Known for their enormous eyes and shy personality, they can be observed dancing when the light of the full moon hits the ground. In fact, it's said they only come out of their burrows during a full moon. We've seen clips of our Hufflepuff companion Poppy Sweeting feeding a group of these cute little creatures. Something unique about them is their dung. If harvested before the sun rose, it would make magical plants grow fast and strong. Another feature found within our room of requirement is the ability for us to grow plants, and we've seen the use of fertilizer seen here, and I'm sure Mooncalf dung would be a great fertilizer to help us grow all the plants we need. Centaurs will also be featured in Hogwarts Legacy. They are magical creatures whose head, torso and arms appear to be human, but their lower body takes the form of a horse. They were, however, their own individual species and not considered half-breeds. The Forbidden Forest is known to host herds of centaurs, and in the recent gameplay reveal, we learned that they aren't happy with wizard kind, as many dark wizards have been poaching different magical creatures in the game. They are adept at archery, divination and astrology, and despite possessing human intelligence, they are classified as a Category 4 beast by the Ministry of Magic per their own request. This is because they weren't happy being deemed as dark creatures, alongside with the likes of hags and vampires. Centaurs aren't the only creatures that inhabit the Forbidden Forest, however, as we've seen some pretty nasty looking spiders in a few teasers. A commonly known spider that lived in the Forbidden Forest during Harry's time at the school was Aragog, who was an acromantula. Now personally, I don't think that the spiders we see here are acromantulas, as they were native to the rainforests of Southeast Asia, particularly Borneo, where they inhabited dense jungles. Aragog was only released into the forest in 1943 after the opening of the Chamber of Secrets. He then went on to set up his own colony of acromantula that thrived in the forest from that point onwards. Now it's possible that there was another colony of acromantula during the 1890s, but it's highly unlikely. So most likely the spiders that we will face are just another large arachnid species. No doubt they are still dangerous, and by the looks of things, we're going to have to take on a few of the creepy crawlies in Hogwarts Legacy. Inferi are reanimated corpses of dead bodies that have been created by dark wizards. Similar but intrinsically distinct from zombies, Severus Snape described them as being used like a puppet to do the wizard's bidding. A dark magic called necromancy was used to raise the dead, and Voldemort himself used them to protect one of his Horcruxes during the First and Second Wizarding Wars. Inferi, however, are extremely vulnerable to fire, and we have seen in both the films as well as gameplay trailers that the use of fire-related spells such as Incendio will be extremely useful in taking on hordes of Inferi. Another dark creature we have seen is none other than the Dementors. We have only seen them in the very first trailer in a room that looks to be Azkaban, as well as being on the cover of the deluxe edition. Widely considered to be one of the foulest of dark creatures inhabiting the wizarding world, Dementors feed on human happiness and have the ability to consume a person's soul. It's impossible to kill a Dementor, at least no one knows how, although by using the Patronus charm, one could defend themselves from the hooded creatures. We have not had any confirmation that the Patronus charm will be accessible in-game, and truthfully, the signs aren't suggesting that we will be able to use the spell. On the Wizarding World website, we are able to transfer over our selected house and wand over to our WB Games account and link that to Hogwarts Legacy. However, we can't transfer over our Patronus that is also available on this website, so it's going to be extremely interesting to see if we will get the chance to come face to face with a Dementor, and if so, what will we do to make it out alive? On a lighter note, we have access to a handful of pets that we can tame and host in our vivarium. Some of these include owls, nifflers, neasels, and maybe even phoenixes. We know owls are essentially a wizard's best friend, and with the owlery itself being a visible location in game, it's no surprise that our character will most likely be able to get an owl of our own. We have also seen cats roam around the castle, as well as neasels, which are cat-like beasts with large ears and a plumb tail. They can be aggressive, but if they like a witch or wizard, they make for exceptional pets. They are highly intelligent and can detect suspicious or distrustful people. This is why Crookshanks in the films was always chasing Scabbers, because he knew of the rat, or rather Peter Pettigrew's, deceiving nature. Nifflers are also another creature that we have seen in the films, and they are described as being rodent-like creatures with a long snout and a coat of black fluffy fur. They are attracted to shiny things, which makes them wonderful for locating treasure, which also means that they can wreak havoc if kept or let loose indoors. And finally, we have phoenixes. We saw this magical creature in a still image on Hogwarts Legacy's website, and it's unknown whether or not this could be Fawkes. It's entirely possible that he was alive during this time period, and it would be a treat for Harry Potter fans if this is actually him. Now, in the past few weeks, some creators were lucky enough to play a couple hours of Hogwarts Legacy, and if you click on this video here, you'll find out about everything that we learned from these new gameplays. So make sure you check that one out, and I'll see you in the next video.